horror show Tells starts 50 years ago in the early 1970s. This new decade brings with it the real horrors of economic turmoil and political unrest. Many react with anger. Now, as John Lydon told us, anger is an energy, and it's this energy that fuels many of the artists in this exhibition.
B is for Bela Lugosi. He's the archetype for one of the most recognisable horror figures of all time, the heavy accented Dracula. With white face and smooth black hair, it's pure Bela Lugosi. By the early 1970s, the most frightening horrors are no longer the mythical monsters on the screen, but the real ones. It's interesting that Christopher Lee, who played Dracula several times, finally hung up his cloak and fangs in 1973. And this was the same year he starred as Lord Summerisle in one of the most influential horror films of all time, The Wicker Man. We're thrilled to exhibit Christopher Lee's personal shooting script.
Collage is right at the heart of this exhibition, coded into the DNA of its DIY attitude. Artists splice up the familiar to make us see things differently. Most exciting for us was being able to create our own collage for the horror show. All of the 2D and graphic elements for the exhibition have been created by the brilliant design studio Barnbrook. It can be seen as you walk through the doors of the galleries.
In horror, doors are often symbolically important as thresholds or portals. We've included several doors in our ghost section. Kerry Stewart's The Boy from the Chemist is Here to See You, and Graham Dolphin's replica of the door to Joy Division's studio.
E is for ether. The Victorians believed that ghosts existed in an intangible void, everywhere and nowhere, the ether. Operating precisely at this intersection of the scientific and the spiritual was Hamad Butt, the artist we're most proud to include in the horror show.
F is for freaks. In our monster section, we have a sideshow of freakish work, including Jenkin Van Ziel's 6 scintillating sinners in vitro, a collection of spectacular entombed cakes in fridges.
A glitch is a disruption, a ghost in the machine. Even the word sounds like a malfunction with its guttural, itchy abruptness. At the end of the ghost section of the horror show, we've created a video wall that stands as a monument to the glitch.
H is for hauntology. The writer and cultural theorist Mark Fisher died in 2017, but his ideas resound throughout the show. Mark's friend, Laura Grace Ford, who's also a studio artist here at Somerset House, has made an incredible new piece for the show, collaborating with Stephen Malander, an electronic music legend.
I is for incantation. The exhibition ends with a major new sound commission from Gazelle Twin. The piece is a soaring, panting, brooding, bubbling, deep well of catharsis, with an incantation performed by the actor Maxine Peake.
J is for Jarman. Derek Jarman casts an influential shadow across all 5 decades of the show. His fingerprints are everywhere, most literally on a book Derek gifted to John Balance of Coil. The spectre of Jarman appears in the form of Isaac Julian's Prince of Prospect Cottage. In Monster, there's a rarely seen portrait of Jordan by Luciana Martinez de la Rosa. Jordan's seen here in the makeup she wore as Amyl Nitrate in Jarman's Jubilee. Luciana was the costume designer for Jubilee.
K is for Curly. In the centre of the collage Barnbrook made for the show is an image by Haminda Judge, self-portrait after Curly and Jean.
The leather jacket has always been a symbol of rebellion. For Sue Webster's Full Leather Jackets project, she's been painting imagery of Susie and the Banshees onto old biker jackets.
M is for masks. Masks have been a big part of all of our lives for the last couple of years, but they're also an enduring motif in horror. Masks are wrapped up in identity, ideology, rituals and ceremonies. We have several masks made by Damselfrau. The most chilling mask of all is perhaps the Scold's Bridal. We have one from the film She Will.
N is for nightclubs. One of the most prominent figures to come out of the nightclubs of the 1980s was Lee Bowery. This subterranean underworld is a great place for wild experimentation, where monstrous ideas evolve and mutate.
O is for occult. Interest in the occult seems to rise in moments of extreme crisis, so it's unsurprising that artists are once again embracing esoteric beliefs, magic and mysticism. The occult weaves a tangled web throughout the show.
P is for protest. The first instinct in front of horror is often to run, but sometimes you have to stand your ground. Protest and art intersect directly in the work of Ackroyd and Harvey.
Q is for queer. Running through the exhibition, we think there's a kind of guide on how to be resilient and survive. History has always feared LGBTQI+ creators and communities. Many of the artists in the horror show have fought and continue to fight for the freedom to explore how we identify ourselves.
R is for rituals. Zadie Char's practice engages with hybrid and diasporic identities, spiritual and religious rituals. She's particularly interested in Korean shamanism. Her intricate hand-sewn garments bring together imagery sourced from music, digital space, fashion and art history.
S is for seduction. The horror show has many seductive moments. One of the pinnacles is by Juno Calypso, a hypnotic video from her honeymoon suite. Then, at the end of the show, waiting for you like a seductive siren, is a monumental piece by Tai Shani. It's being shown here in the UK for the first time.
T is for Thatcher. When the satirical puppet show Spitting Image launched in 1984, Thatcher was one of the key characters. We're excited to have one of the original moulded latex puppets in the exhibition. Thatcher broke the unions, fought the miners and waged a class war.
U is for uncanny. It describes a strange and anxious feeling of familiar objects in unfamiliar contexts. The horror show has more than its fair share of uncanny moments. Self-Portrait as a Drowned Man by Jeremy Miller is perhaps one of the most powerful, but there's many more, including a delicious prop puppet from the film Possum by Matthew Holness.
V is for virus, post-viral fatigue, a major new painting by Noel Fielding. Another piece created during lockdown is Cellular Amulet, a protective sculpture by Charlotte Colbert.
W is for Wicca. The horror show also features Cathy Ward's spellbinding Home Rites. The piece consists of a set of corn dollies uniquely designed with symbols that connect to the rights of people.
X is for Xerox. By the time we became teenagers in the 80s, there was a firmly established alternative DIY culture of fanzines, independent record labels and small presses. Penny Slinger created an incredible series of works using the Xerox machine.
Y is for you. The horror show needs you. What we mean by that is that it isn't all tied up. It's not authoritative or comprehensive. It needs to be witnessed, received and interpreted by you.
Z is for Zombie. David Shrigley's I'm Dead is another piece in the show that considers what happens after death. A tiny taxidermy cat proudly holds up a protest sign that simply states, I'm dead. Immortalised in a work of art, it's a knowing acknowledgement that in the end, death is inevitable. Maybe that's okay. Horror matters because it teaches us not to be scared.